His daughter was stolen by the Fae. 2 decades of fruitless searching later, his time for vengeance has come. He kicks in the door to the queen's throne room as she flies to her feet, grabbing the hilt of her sword before recognition flashes across her face. "Dad! What are you doing here?" They came for her in the twilight. So it was with the others. The Fae were always at their boldest in those moments of transition. When the world hasn't quite decided whether the day is dead and the night is born. We had all given our children the warnings, spoken in hushed tones as we tucked them into bed or sing-song in the nursery rhymes, but a childhood is built upon the ignored advice of elders. Still, I thought I might be spared. We had already lost so much, it seemed unjust that the world might take more. What balance could there be in taking a daughter from someone who had already lost a wife and a son? But the Fae are cruel. They play their games and care not for the misery that comes from it. I called for her when the sun was still strong, beating down and warming the workshop where I swung my hammer. Her voice came back to me, lilting and sugary sweet, pleading for just a few more minutes. I called for her as the sun slipped from fullness, losing strength as it dipped behind the towering trees of the wilds. Still she refused, explaining that the acorns were on parade and must complete their journey. I called her when the sun was extinguished, leaving only the orange glow beyond the horizon. She did not answer then. Vexed, I lay my hammer to rest for the day, my voice becoming cross as I made my way out into the yard. She was nowhere to be seen. I searched. Eventually, I found the place where she was taken. A long column of acorns were arranged in neat parade, making their way to a cluster of rocks. The rocks were a cascade of colors and unfamiliar to me. Each had been placed in perfect coordination with the others, forming an altar of sorts. I frowned at the sight. The small construction was beyond what skill of my daughter. As I observed it, a small sprig of blueberry burst through the stones and blossomed. The mark of the Fae. Frantic, I called out for her. She never called back. My search has been long. I am seen as a fool, unable to move beyond my grief. So be it, their pity has been to my benefit. Copper coins are thrown at the feet of the weeping wanderer and I do not hesitate to pick them up. Food is left at the stoop of my shuttered forge and I am not too proud to eat it. It is no small thing to track the Fae, and I will take whatever small advantages I can get. I thank the baker for his day's old bread. I thank the widow for the patches to my trousers. I thank the druid for the dowser to guide my way. I thank the magician for the runes of passage. My quest is built upon the charity of others. I have become familiar with the wilds. It is now more a home than the civilized places man properly inhabits. There is a reason to the chaos, one that becomes understandable with time if not quite ever readable. It is within this logic that I have made my progress. The Fae are not beyond some sensibilities of their own. There are places they prefer. Places of inordinate beauty. Places of diversity and abundance. Places of overgrown and untamed vitality. These are their homes. And one by one, I have sought them out. They are hostile to me, angered at the intrusion. A man should not be able to finding them, should not be capable of passing through the veil and into their glens. But I have searched long and I have learned the manner of such things. I am not gifted, but I have been given many gifts. The dowsing rod points and I follow. The runes of passage flare to life as I approach the glen. Cold steel and hateful iron protect me once I enter. They are forced to bargain. A man in his fullness is no child. A father in his intent cannot be persuaded by trinkets and promises. I ask for what I want and, eventually, they yield. Glen by glen. Each one a stepping stone to the glen of the Fae Queen. The glen is like the others but not. It is mossy and verdant, rich with life. Vines curl and move along the periphery, dancing among the leaves and snaking up trunks. Wisps float and congregate, twinkling their merry light. Chitters and songs call out over the din of rushing water. These are the sights of a glen and I have seen them before. I have also seen the gathering of rocks before, but never in a glen. They form a far larger construction now, but the colors and arrangement are the same. A massive colored altar, arranged around a towering sprout of blueberry. 2 green doors hinge at the front of the altar. I make my way to them. I can see Fae flitting between the trees beyond, nervous but unwilling to approach. Perhaps they have heard of the weeping wanderer. Perhaps they fear my steel and iron. Perhaps they are simply curious. I approach the doors and lay my hand on it. I yank but it does not budge. I hunch and gather my strength and then lay my boot into it. The vines attaching the door to the rock creak and then snap. I see a scramble beyond. A crowned creature spreads her wings and alights, reaching for the gnarled sword held on the stand beside her throne. Her fingers touch the hilt and it bursts to life. Blueberry sprigs sprout along the blade as the chamber is bathed in warm, green light. I catch her face just as she catches mine. She falters. I falter. "Dad, what are you doing here?" she asks. I find my throat is dry and my tongue beyond use. I simply stare. She is my daughter, but she is not as I remember her. She has grown and changed. The chubby cheeks have been replaced with fine lines. The golden pigtails are now long green gold tresses, plaited and woven with blueberry. Delicate wings of translucent spider silk hang from her back, fluttering in flight. She has become one of them. The wings stop their beating and she lands upon the floor. They fold behind her and she takes a step toward me. Her crown is a wreath of acorns, arranged in neat rows. I see them just as I see all of her. They took you, I say. She is quiet for a long moment. Yes, she replies. I searched. I reply, a helpless tone to it as I gesture to the dowsing rod at my side. This whole time? She asks, a tremor in her own voice. I nod, a tear leaking down. I'm sorry. I wish you hadn't. I wish you had moved on. She takes another step. I take a step back, recoiling. Moved on? How? You were all I had left. What are you doing? What is happening? I fix a pleading look on her now. Come with me. Come back. I can see her heart break in front of me. I can feel my heart break alongside. She will not come. I can't. She gestures to the throne room. I have become this. What does that mean? They cannot stop us. I pull the bar of iron from the scabbard at my side and she flinches at the sight of it. I hurriedly put it away. Tears are in her eyes now and she swallows. I was taken. I was changed. I have become this. She repeats. I cannot leave. I am the heart of the wilds. What have they done to you?
I have done it to myself.
She reaches up, her fingers touching her acorn crown, running along it. It's what I was meant for, I think. I was young and I was confused, but it felt proper. She looks at me now, a questioning look on her face, uncertain. Looking for affirmation. Wanting acceptance. Wanting to believe that I would not judge her for it. I yank the buckle and the scabbard of my side drops with a dull thunk. I spread my arms and take a step toward her. Her eyes soften. I take another step, her anguished cry rings out in the throne room as I fold her into my embrace, my hands gentle against the wings on her back. She weeps into my shoulder. I weep into hers. Through the tears, I ask a simple question and she answers. Can I stay? Yes. Equals. Want more peril?